G'day, I'm Mark from Self-Sufficient Man. In this video, you're going to see some drastic, severe fruit tree pruning. It's either make it or die for these fruit trees. I've had enough, so it's time to chop and drop like never before. A lot of these trees were planted nearly 2 decades ago, and instead of being a food forest anymore, it's more like a jungle with these monster mango trees, guavas, star apples, stone fruits, olives, most of them getting way too big to manage. For example, check out this poor blood orange. She's doing her best, but it's getting shaded out by a mango here, a mango there, a loquat there, just towering over it, trying to survive on what little sunlight it gets. And it's fighting on nicely, but it's not growing that well, and the oranges it's producing could be a lot better. This is not going to be an easy job. There are a lot of trees that need cutting right down, and when I say cut right down, I mean head height. And there's another problem. I'm already too late. We're getting towards the end of our winter. We've only got a few weeks to go and it'll be spring already. And as you can see, our mango trees have already started to flower. It's not ideal. I would have liked to have done this massive cutback in the middle of winter when everything is mostly dormant, but I just didn't have time with the launch of my book, 100 Top Crops You Can Grow, all the traveling around and other things, and just life catches up with you. I wasn't able to get that done, and another year means another 12 months of, productive fruit trees feeding the neighbourhood wildlife instead of us. And I think this is one of the toughest and biggest challenges I've ever done on this channel. So let's chop into it. Now today I had intended to chop, drop and chip, but because of the wet weather, I think I'll just chop and drop for now. And I'll introduce you to my good friend, Mr. Hansa C21 Charlie, later on when I get chipping up all the fallen debris from these fruit trees. The chipping and the mulching is going to go straight back into the orchard. It's not going to get carted away. It'll be going straight back on the ground. The other thing I forgot to mention in the intro was that I'm also going to get rid of any fruit trees that aren't performing and aren't producing, because what's the point of keeping them in there just to take up space and nutrients and shade from other trees that are producing? Let's start right here with this olive tree. I told you it was going to be severe. Well, I am really keen to get this job done, but I don't mind a bit of rain, but I'm not going to be doing it in the pouring rain or this. So I'll give it a break and wait till it calms down a bit, which is a shame. These are the type of jobs you just want to get over and done with. You don't want them to linger on. You just want to get it going, get it chopped down, and then move on to the next phase, mulching it all up and getting it finished. The rain, will it ever stop falling? It's the next morning and I got a little bit done yesterday, but the rain really stopped me. It doesn't look like we're going to get the same amount of rain today. fingers crossed. So I should be able to make a really good dent into this. Because it's a bit early in the morning, I think I might give this little fella a go, the electric chainsaw. I'm going to try to cut down that big mango there with it. I don't want to arc up the bloomin' chainsaw. No one wants to hear that early in the morning while they're having their cuppa. So I'll start it with this, and it'll be a good chance to see how well this can cut when you're tackling a big tree like this R2E2 mango. And the last thing, as I've been going along, yes, I've been cutting and dropping, or chopping and dropping. I also have been sorting it out, dragging the branches out, just cutting them a little bit. So if you've got really awkward looking branches that are coming out that won't go through the chipper very easily, you might as well do it as you go so that they're easier to put through the chipper later. It's just nicer flow when that's all already been done, or most of it at least. A mango tree, it has multi-directional branches. They just go everywhere. So they're quite difficult to throw through the chipper nice and easy. So you've got to cut them up into segments so that they're pretty much straight so that they go through easy. So they take a bit extra long to cut up. Nice bonus, big pomelo. That last mango branch just knocked it down. Nearly done with that mango tree. It's taken a while with this chainsaw. I mean, this is good, but you know, it's a bit below the job. And the mango tree sap, it really glues up the saw. It's kind of weird, that sap. Yeah, it gets it all sticky. You got to pull it apart and try to bloody free it up. You know, not all the time, but just occasionally, because it just sort of, even though it's getting oil through it, it's just not enough. What I try to do to mango is similar to most other trees, big trees, small trees, is make it into a kind of wine glass shape. Get rid of things that are crossing over, branches that are crossing over, branches that are unequal. And what I want to do here is have it so that it starts bushing out, maybe gets about 6.5 feet tall, and I can easily net it. Maybe, you know, even if it's 8 feet tall, I can still net it. But as it was, there was no way you could protect the fruit that was mostly growing on top there. This is fine, except this one branch here that is crossing over into the middle. To get that really nice U shape and to get better airflow, especially when this starts to bush up, which will be in about, well, in our spring, this will start to bush out. Probably in another 12 months, it'll look completely different. But you don't want it all bushy in the middle here, especially with mangoes or avocados, but mangoes especially. You'll get anthracnose, you'll get leaf diseases and black spot. And to help with airflow, you want to open up the middle of that tree. So that's what I'm going to do now, is get rid of that one big branch that crosses over, and so I'll open it up. Just like that. That'll sap over. All this here will sap over. It's already starting to. It'll patch itself up and then it'll start to shoot. And it'll bush out. And probably within the next season, if I'm lucky, maybe even this season, but definitely the next season, it'll flower profusely and we'll have some beautiful mangoes that are easy to manage on it. What's not easy to manage is doing this for all the rest of them. I've got about 10 mango trees that are similar heights, maybe not as big as this one, but still I've got a lot more to go, and other types of trees too. I'm going to switch to the big fella for the rest of the day. That'll make things a little easier, especially for the bigger mango trees. And I've got a star apple there that's way too big, and a hog plum, and several other trees that I need to cut back, and this will make short work of them. This behind me here is a Nashi pear. It's really good fruit, a nice big crunchy type pear fruit, obviously. But the problem is it has a very tall upright growth. I've cut it back before and it tends to shoot straight back up very quickly. It's got a phenomenal growth habit of straightness, but also fast. It grows really quick. But what you can notice here is I have chopped all those long ones off, but this one here that was growing out sideways, I've left it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to weigh these down, or maybe semi-trellis them, and make a horizontal type espalier type. Well, that's exactly what it is. I'm going to espalier it in a rough kind of way, using some star pickets or some weights to weigh it down a bit, so that I can have some easy access to the fruit and prevent it from shooting straight up like it wants to go. And I think training it like that will be a good way to be able to horizontally net those fruits, because they are prized. The fruit fly loves stinging them and making them go rotten, and of course the possums and the bats and the birds and everything else likes to eat them, the bush turkeys. So if I can easily net them, I think we'll be in for some really good cracking crispy Nashi pears in the next season. Well, I'm making slow progress, but I'll take you in here and I'll show you this kind of dilemma that I've got. This tree here is a star apple. It's a Asian tree. I think it grows in Thailand and places like that, Philippines. Sort of subtropical, tropical tree, I'm pretty sure, but I don't know a lot about it. What I do know is it's taken a very long time to fruit, and it's finally fruiting. I mean, it had one or two fruits over the last few years. We couldn't really have much of a taste of it because they were just small. I've grown this for 15 years or so. This is the first season that it's fruiting well. There's some nice big fruit up there too, but it's so high up, I just know that I'm not going to be able to get those fruits. I know that the bats and the possums are going to get to them before me. It's a shame because I don't know much about this tree, and I'm fearing that cutting it right back like I'm going to do, I've made my decision, is going to hurt it. But there's not much I can do about it. It's such a big tree. I mean, I know it's really made its canopy now. It's probably not going to get taller than this, but it still is, what, 10 meters high, and maybe not that high, but it still is way too high, and it kind of defeats the purpose for backyard fruit growing. And even though it looks beautiful, it's got a lovely canopy, I'm going to have to chop it and get it to at least just over head height and hope that it produces a nice big canopy again, but keep it small, and hopefully it can fruit profusely with a small profile. That's what it's going to have to do. Unfortunately, there's not much else we can do about it. It's different for the citrus trees. You can see the citrus trees, a lot of them are 5 or so meters high. They're fully grown. I'm not cutting them down. I'll prune them and I'll thin them out. I'll get rid of dead branches, crossing over branches, old wood, that type of thing, diseased wood. But I'm not cutting them down to head height. Why? Well, because the fruit doesn't get touched. I mean, and they fruit so profusely that the possums and the fruit bats and that, they just don't seem to bother with citrus that much until right at the end of the season. And if they're falling off the tree, you'll have the birds or the galahs and the parrots come in, the bush turkeys, they'll eat them up. But typically we get plenty of citrus off our trees, and there's no need to cut them back severely and net them. Not even the fruit fly get into our citrus. So it's kind of the perfect tree to grow here, the perfect fruit tree in our area, because not only do they grow really well, even in our clay soil, but nothing much touches the fruit except for us, which is perfect. So I don't have to do much maintenance to them. But yeah, other trees like the mangoes, and unfortunately this fella here, it's just going to have to be cut right back. I've got a lot to go. Yeah, this is going to take me more than just a few days. Yeah, it's going to take me a long time to cut all this back and then put it through the chipper. That's going to be, yeah, maybe not as long, but still quite a few days to chip all this up as well and throw it back here underneath the trees and give it its own nourishment. Yeah, a bit sad, but that's what it has to be. Starfruit, not like them. We got 2 of them. We're going to get rid of one completely, probably keep that one as a small tree. The fruit isn't too bad, but it's not spectacular. It looks better than it tastes, and you can't eat a lot of it, especially if you've got kidney problems apparently, because it's not good for you. So yeah, you're hesitant to give this tree a real go of it. And plus it gets hit by our Queensland fruit fly too much. It's very easily stung. To be honest, it's just a waste of space. Well, this is day 3. I'm starting a bit later. Gentleman hours today. It's a Saturday, so I thought I'd give myself a little bit of a break and a bit of a sleep in, and get it stuck into this in the afternoon when the sun's starting to go down a little bit, so it's not as hot overhead. I've got a lot more to go yet, probably about another 8 mango trees, and then, well, all up, probably got to prune about another 20 or 25 trees, heavily pruned. So I'm going to start with a black sapto or the chocolate pudding tree. I'm not going to cut it like down completely, even though I'm not keen on the fruit. I want to experiment with it a little bit more, but it's definitely getting a major haircut because it's starting to get quite tall. It's close to the veggie garden. That's it over there. I just don't need it to be that big because we're not overly keen on the fruit at all. But it's something that I still want to learn more about, so I'm going to keep it and not get rid of it completely. Then there's a loquat on the other side. I'll get onto that, and then I'll start getting through the other mango trees and whatever else I've got to still do. But yeah, I better get going. Big job. I'm always careful when I'm using a chainsaw and cutting down trees, especially, you know, sizable ones, making sure I stay out of the way and making sure I keep my, you know, legs and arms and fingers out of the way of the chain as well. But I've given myself quite a nasty hematoma on my, just above my shin, just below the knee here. A blooming mango branch. I was doing everything I could just to be on the opposite side, to be away from the bloody thing, and I cut the branch and I stood back, and for some reason it is turned upside down. I think it hit one of the other trees, and it then came back like a battering ram going into, I don't know, a castle door. It just flung backwards, and I was behind the other side of the mango tree, and it had just missed the trunk of the tree and then went straight into my blooming leg. Hopefully it'll get better on its own. I mean, it doesn't hurt that much. I've had some before that needed to be needled out or cut to release, so hopefully this will be okay. Stupid me. That's another day of chopping and dropping done. All I keep thinking about now is how long is it going to take to chip this up? Oh, it's going to take me a month of Sundays. Anyway, I've got a good chipper, the Charlie or C21 Hansa. So I'm looking forward to giving it its first real big test. And if it can get through all this, which I'm pretty confident it will, well, I'll be a happy man. Yeah, oh, wow. Yeah, it's not just chopping and dropping. You've got to also chop up. And the reason for that is obviously to make the sizes more manageable. Anything that I can't chip, we'll keep for firewood and burn that for cooking. But, you know, fruit trees, especially mango, olives, pecan, they're all good wood for cooking. So, yeah, open grilling and all that type of thing, fantastic stuff. Nina came out yesterday and had a look and she went, oh my God, will they survive? And I assured her that, yep, these trees will survive. 12 months time we'll be getting mangoes and fruit off these stumps. Mark my words. All right, time for a bit of a rest. It's day 4 and it's pretty windy today. I've got 5 mango trees to go, and the last one is a big Kensington Pride, a Bowen mango. It's a big tree. I've pruned it twice before over the last 15 years severely, and it needs another haircut now. There's a hog plum behind it that I need to also cut down as much as possible. I've realized that hog plums, although I've never tried the fruit before. The few fruit that it did bear got hit straight away by the fruit fly, so it needs to be cut down so I can manage it and at least get a few fruit off it so I can try it at least and see what it's like. And then I've got a star fruit, another one. I've got 2 star fruit trees. I cut the one down over here and I'm going to cut this other one right back to stump. It's going. We don't need 2 star fruit trees. It's just an overkill. Next to that is a large guava that hasn't fruited yet. Maybe it's close to fruiting, but I'm going to trim it back anyway because it's shading out a great lime tree that we've got, a Tahitian lime, and that's more productive and that's something we eat all the time. Well, that's it for today. Nearly got it done. 3 trees to go. But I've run out of fuel and it's getting dark. That was a big mango tree. Yeah, I'll tell you what, after this winter, I don't want to touch a chainsaw for a long time. All right, it's day 5 and I've still got, well, about 5 trees to go. I know I said that I didn't have that many to go yesterday, but these mangoes took ages to cut down and chop up. It's amazing how much time and effort it can take just to do one large mango tree like the one that was standing over there. And then behind me, there's this pomegranate. And this is a full-sized pomegranate. I cut down a smaller pomegranate yesterday. I just got rid of it because it produces small fruit. It's a dwarf pomegranate plant. I grew it just to test it and I found out that the small fruits aren't worth growing. The seeds inside, they dry up real quick and it's just a waste of space. So I've cut that down to the ground and I'll dig it out. Pomegranate seems to grow like a bush, and now that it's getting more sun because the mangoes around it are gone, hopefully it can grow a bit stronger. I'll leave some of the stronger stems there and I will protect the fruit through either netting or bagging the fruit individually. To your right, there's this native tamarind tree. Now these can get up to 8 meters tall and you can see it's already towering up above, which is a good thing because it outgrew the mango trees and it could survive. But there's no way I'm going to be able to reach the fruit at the top there. So the possums and the birds and that are going to get them anyway. So again, I'm going to have to truncate it, which I have no idea if it'll come back from this because as you can see, the growth habit is a very long, thin stem. I'm sure it gets thicker over the years with a big bushy top. It's a rainforest type tree, so it could be a little sensitive to heavy pruning. I'm not sure, but I'm going to do it anyway because there's no point in leaving it grow that big and get up there like that if I can't get the fruit anyway. Well, I wish I could say it was day 6, but it's not. You might be able to hear I'm a little bit hoarse. I've had a cold for a week, so I haven't really been out doing much. As a consequence, the orchard is looking very sad. There's been no chipping at all done, and I intend to do that. But at the moment, it really looks like a dead, desolate, chopped up wasteland back there. If you have just finished your chopping up, I've been getting a few emails lately asking if I have still got my C13 Hansa chipper, and the answer to that is no. I traded it in on the C21 because I knew this big job was coming up, and I want to tell you all about the chipper and the way it can handle this whole orchard chipping up in the next video. For now, I'm happy that I got this orchard chopped down before spring hit. The next season is where you will see all this carnage turn into greenery and wonderful fruit. And I want to prove to you that all this damage and shock and awe on our orchard will actually turn into something really good. So I'll be looking forward to doing that in the future, probably 12 months down the track, the next season. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure you give it a big chop and drop, thumbs up, share it around, subscribe, but hit that bell, because that's the thing that will get you notified of my videos. YouTube doesn't show my new uploads to my subscriber base anymore like they used to. And the only way you're going to know if I've uploaded a new video is by either going to my channel and checking, or by hitting that bell and getting notifications these days. So I'd appreciate that. And also, remember my book, my top 100 crops you can grow. Have a think about getting that for yourself or someone for Christmas. Thanks a lot for watching. Bye for now. Cheers.